Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man, at your service. Is it Kilt-Man or is it just a caveman in a kilt? Who can tell? Who knows? Anyway, folks, here we are. Now, this coming week, Rambo Last Blood will be making its appearance. He will be unleashed again. The aging Special Forces ogre will be back on the big screen, doing what he does best, living off the land, eating things that make a bitty go puke, and killing everybody in sight in the most blood-curdling ways. Because if anything, Stallone has upped consecutively throughout all the movies in the franchise. They've got increasingly more brutal and violent because he knows that's what people want to see. And it is such a far cry from the original First Blood, you know. But hopefully this turns full circle. We've got the older guy now. Again, he's on home turf, well, home-ish, certainly, well, America. Whether it's straddling the border of North and South America, you know, Mexico. But again, it's personal reasons now. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it, as you all know. And here's my Jade Buddha, you know. And so I thought, the film that gets overlooked throughout most of the, you know, the Rambo phenomenon is Rambo III, 1988. He goes to Afghanistan because Troutman, you know, good old Colonel Troutman, gets captured and put in a savage Rusky jail with a guy that has a flamethrower and loves to torture people. So Johnny Rambo goes in. This time it's for his friend. But it was the last time that Jerry Goldsmith would score a Rambo movie, because obviously after Rambo 3 there was a long hiatus before. Well, they just called it Rambo, didn't they? The one set in Burma. And Brian Tyler did a really fantastic score which harkened back a lot to the themes and motifs and style of Goldsmith. But this is the last time that Goldsmith scored a Rambo movie. And there's a lot of electronics in it. Some fans are a bit sort of on the fence about this one because of the electronics, the extensive use. There was some in First Blood. There was a lot more in Rambo First Blood Part 2, and there's a hell of a lot in Rambo 3. But Goldsmith was such an accomplished composer. He could write for any sort of instrument, be it organic, be it, you know, woodwind, be it brass, be it whatever, be it electronic. He knew how to incorporate sounds and flourishes and how to make, you know, a fantastic, rhythmic, relentless, pugilistic score. So, without further ado, I'm going to play you just a few tracks from it, but, you know, get myself in the mood. Well, and you guys as well. So we're going to go for Preparations now. This is quite an epic track. This is where Troutman and I think the CIA, Clarence Bodiger from RoboCop, are trying to find Rambo, and they're in Thailand. They're trying to track him down because they've got this mission they want to go on, you know, inside Afghanistan, and only he can do the job, sort of thing. And but Rambo, who's now living the monastic life with a bunch of Buddhist monks, and he does all work for them, and they feed him, let him live there, and he's happy. I like this place. But of course, the animal in him, the beast in him, still has to find an outlet. So of course, what he does stick fighting. I've got the sticks as well. Shit, I forgot to bring them down. Damn it! Anyway, what the hell? I've got no one to fight with, so what's the point? I'd only end up poking myself in the eye with them anyway. They're like nunchuckers. Have you ever used nunchuckers? Unless you are extensively schooled and trained in the art of nunchuckers, you're going to do yourself more damage than anybody else around you. You're going to take your skull apart with those. Trust me, I've trained with them. I know. And I'm pretty good with them. Actually, I'm not. I'm really shit with them. But so Rambo does stick fighting to earn some money on the side, which he then gives back to the monks. So this sequence, this is the opening of the film. Nice montage of Troutman and this CIA guy. You'll be seeing this man, you know, showing pictures of a young Stallone. And then you get led to this sort of warehouse where the fight takes place. And this is just glorious. Rambo turns around at this point. He's just done his bandana. I haven't even bothered putting it on. A nice little harken back to the plaintive, forlorn theme for Johnny Rambo. And Goldsmith takes it down to base primal levels. And because it's Thailand, there's a rhythmic, sort of tribal wood block and percussion beat that comes in, which in the UK, people who watched cricket back in the 70s and 80s, whatever that bloody cricket show was called, it sounds dead similar to the opening theme to that. It's this bit coming up now. People out there will know what I'm referring to with that cricket show. Now, this release from Entrada, it's the full score. It's not got the best sound. I love Entrada and the stuff they put out. Adore them. I absolutely adore them. And this was the first time the complete score to Rambo 3 had ever been released. And it's just full of glorious stuff. But it's all mixed a little bit too low for my liking. Plays okay in your ears when you've got your earphones in. And the guy's fighting this straggly haired lump of a man. Hang on, straggly haired lump of a man. I don't recall being in that movie. He doesn't look anywhere near as muscle bound and as toned and defined as Stallone does. But he's bloody good at what he does. And he, Rocky style, Rambo takes a fucking good beating. And like you see Troutman's kind of like with his beret on, his ridiculous American Special Forces green beret. You Yanks can't wear berets properly. At least you can't in movies. In real life you actually can. But movies, they just seem to exaggerate it. And Troutman's going, as they're watching, Rambo's getting the shit kicked out of him. But Rambo can take all this kind of stuff. But I love all these shakes, these rattles, all this ethnic percussion. It begins to build up. It gets faster. That's where Rambo's now fighting back. And there's some good... For the first time ever, you see Stallone as Rambo doing some martial arts. He does a spinning reverse kick, which is really, really good, and Stallone doing it, which is something that he will do later on in the movie when he kicks that great big Russian back down the hole when he's got a fucking grenade. He's pulled the pins out of the grenades, and the guy goes boom. I'm sorry this is so quiet. I'm stunned how quiet it's come out. Let's see. You can hear the electronics. Rambo's come back, he's fucking going for him. This guy's like, and there's a great shot of Rambo. He has the two sticks, and he's above him like that, and the guy's on the deck, waiting for the end. And Rambo's pecs are twitching. Reminded it then? Rambo's pecs are twitching, and then finally, the monster subsides. And he just puts his gloved, his mittened hand down for him, and brings the guy up. Because the two recognise each other as, true warriors. A lot of respect. But this bit here is like he's trying to control the rage. Peter MacDonald made Rambo 3, and it's the most OTT, obviously. Rambo takes on the might of the Russian army, riding a horse with a bottle of Nuki Brown in his hand. He drives a nuclear-powered tank. He drives a nuclear-powered, Russian gunship. He repairs himself. He's been shot through the side, and he's like, a bit of shrapnel's gone through, and he has to push the shrapnel through, and then he gets a burning stave, puts gunpowder on both sides of the wound, and it's a great effect as well. And it's just awesome, And if anyone can survive it, it'd be him. I mean, there's a great moment later on when he's rescued Troutman, and they're running across the desert. They're being pursued by helicopters and tanks and fucking everything. Spetsnaz, special forces. And Rambo sort of goes, like that with his side. And like Troutman goes, how's the wound? John, how's the wound? And he goes, you told us to ignore pain, didn't you? And he goes, is it working? Not really. hell of a time for humour, John. And like, I always find it hysterical that when they're running, they have to go through the cave sequence where Rambo, they always have a sequence where Rambo will hide in the shadows and take out a bunch of pursuers, a hunting force. And this isn't the best sequence. Out of all the films where he's done this, this is the least powerful until they get up top again. But everywhere he goes, he has to fight people, and he comes out the hole like that, and like Troutman's already got out, climbed up this fucking rope. He's been beaten and tortured. And he's an old guy, and he's like half a mile away across on another hill, and he's like, John, come on, John. Rambo's like, oh, fuck it. Will you just wait for me? Just for 5 minutes, just wait for me. Troutman trying to prove something like, I can still run, you know, although you'll never actually see me run in the film. Because I'm too old for that kind of shit in reality. Poor Richard Crenna's gone now as well. I really hope there's like a homage to Richard Crenna and to Troutman in, you know, this Last Blood movie. I would also love there to be Brian Dennehy, who plays, you know, Sheriff Will Teasel from First Blood, in some capacity. How that would be done, I've got a few ideas myself, but it would be great. That would wrap things up, you know, a homage to Richard Crenna and Troutman. Maybe if it's just Rambo having a flashback to, being trained by Troutman, you just hear Troutman's voice. Or maybe a flashback created for the film where he's actually visiting Troutman's grave in Arlington. That would be nice. Just, you know, in his M65 combat jacket, his rolled up duffel bag over his back and all that, like, and just standing there silently in reverence to the guy that trained him. God didn't make him, I made him. But yeah, so let's go on to, right, this is night fight. Rambo's gone in there, sporting. Now, a lot of you've seen the video I did on the knives. Here is the big boy from Rambo 3. Laser engraved. You probably can't see in the light there, but anyway, there it is. It's one of many versions that came out. But it's a savage, you know, it's one of the biggest, most brutal Bowie knives that I've ever seen. All the Rambo knives are Bowie knives, except for, I think, what we're seeing from Dieter Pohl, who does the ones for the new movie, which I still haven't really seen them too well. You know, I don't really want to see them in much detail until I see the movie, because I'm going to get them, you know. And those two, at least. Typical Goldsmith, relentless action. Great motifs, great build-up, great, you know, bass beat behind it. Lots of orchestral colour interjecting to capture all the random elements of the battle developing around. Now, this is the first time he's gone into the Russian camp, and he fucks up basically because there's a little kid. You know, this is where the film kind of fell down a little bit as well. They had the Mujahideen, the brave warriors of the Mujahideen who were fighting the Russians. The Mujahideen, who we did equip them as well, but America equipped them and trained them, and they became the Taliban. Oops, a daisy. But this little lad, you know, wants to join the fight, and he's snuck in behind Rambo and this guide. So this fucking kid gets in the way. Just when he's about to rescue Troutman, the kid pops up and gets fucking shot like in the leg, so Rambo has to then carry him, but leave. Run, John, get out of here! You know, Troutman's little face at the bars. Run, John! So Rambo has to bug out, not before killing lots and lots of Russians as well, and setting off loads of explosions. Now there's a familiar Rambo theme. Running, this is from First Blood Part 2, but with added electro pulse and beat. And it's nothing compares to seeing, you know, bare-chested Rambo, hair fucking flowing, AK-47, M16, or whatever he's got to hand. In this, it's extensively AK-47. You know, bow and arrow, fucking big knife, just running. Usually with a big explosion behind him, just. Peter MacDonald stages some of the action scenes really well. This is up until one set in Burma, which came years after this one. Rambo 3 was the most brutal. It was always cut, well, it was cut for many years in the UK. They just trimmed out bullet hits and various, a guy getting his teeth knocked out. Because Rambo does a bit of his stick fighting training by taking out the guy with the blowtorch, like in the torture chamber. And fucking close in good stand, you see his teeth like that. Looking awesome. But it's a glorious one, certainly. So this is where they go down in the sewers. Rambo's still injured, like. Russians are dropping down the Spetsnaz with this big fucking beefy bastard. There's always one guy's got up against who's formidable, you know? I always make a cup of tea when I do these, and I've left it over there. Back in a moment. Using stealth, speed, and aggression. The Kilt-Man rescues his muggy tea. How have you been, John? It's buoyant, isn't it? It's one of Goldsmith's brilliant tricks. He could do darkness, but he could do just effortless flight. You get the sense of movement, momentum, suspense, tension. Fucking awesome. I love it. So of course, they escape from here. Rambo sends off his guide. Take the kid with you. I've still got to go back there. How can you do this? You're just one man alone. It's like, I can fuck you. I've done this shit before. But your wound. Don't worry. And that's why he always blows himself in two, trying to fix his wound and cauterize the exit and entry wounds. It's a great moment. Oh, listen. That emulates the siren, the alarm siren at this big Russian base, mountaintop base. It's eerie, it's like a foghorn. It's great, I just love it. It's a bloodbath, it's action, it's relentless macho heroism. But Goldsmith puts so much more into it instead of just general bombast. The Rambo theme comes in again, adds, extra, dynamism to it. And with that syncopated little electro flourish behind, just gives it like a hyperkinetic vibe. There's a great big grill that they have to get through. Rambo's like hitting it with the AK, the butt, and then having to fucking wrench it free out of its moorings. Of course, an RPG takes care of it for him. Right, they got out and then into the cave system. Rambo is gonna go back because he hasn't got Troutman just yet. But predating Cliffhanger, the awesomeness that is Rennie Harlin's Cliffhanger. Oh, it's a great movie that. I adore that film. Stallone climbing mountains and using basically a mountain as a die-hard battlefield. And well, predating that, he has the long climb because he goes up to climbs up the mountain. They weren't expecting coming from that way, and they're sending out teams to go and hunt him down. But of course, instead of running, he's come back. Great tactic. Double back and come back on the enemy. Electro. But yeah, that pounding sizzle. It's almost like a big iron fist with sparks. It's grounding itself into the rocks. And that's Rambo coming up. Once he scales it, this is how the music turns and becomes more hopeful, optimistic, and it's almost like a giddy delight in the fact that I've just done this. And you see this dickhead of a sentry who's sitting like that, and there's a great big 50 caliber machine gun over there, and he sees Rambo come, he's like, stutters, runs for that, instead of just fucking, running the other way, or pulling out a sidearm, he runs for the gun, and Rambo gets him, oh, fuck you. of course, Stallone looked possibly at his best in this. I'd always say it's toned down body, streamlined, honed and toned, and ripped to fucking bullet to the head, which is not a good film. But for a guy at his age, he looked amazing in that. But he looks fucking awesome here. He's bigger, he's meatier, but his fitness level is really jacked up as well. Come on, Rambo. Here we go. He's up. You have to struggle up the cliff face. And it's like, this is, I'm in. And most of you soldiers are out searching for me, and I'm back here. So he takes a few out like, John! It's good to see you, John. John, you bastard. You've got at least 2 more movies ahead of you. This is it for me. Folks, this is a lot quieter than I really wanted it to be. I haven't got the Spinal Tap guitar where I can tell, well, most guitars volume goes up to 10. I've got an extra notch made, mine goes up to 11. Rambo. Stallone actually got quite furious during the making of this because his life was in jeopardy. During the scene where Russian gunships attacked the Mujahideen village where he's being trained and told how to get into the enemy camp. And this Zazen, who plays the big Russian bastard bad guy, the colonel in charge, he's flying this helicopter, whoever's flying it, it's Zazen in the movie, but it's stunt pilots obviously. But Rambo's on a horse. They've been playing this stupid bloody game with like a bloody cow's carcass. Fucking whatever. It's just to show like Rambo can achieve anything if he sets his mind to it. He'll even outdo these guys. He'll play better than them, even though they've been playing it for fucking centuries, and he's just learned it in the last 30 seconds. But an attack ships come in, fucking strafing the village, and it flies literally a few feet over the head of Stallone, who's riding the horse. Stallone, by the way, is an excellent horse rider, as will be proved outstandingly in Last Blood. His equestrian skills are just unbelievable, and it's him doing it. But yeah, his helicopter goes right down, apparently he was out, he's fucking livid. Oh, it's to my fucking head off! What the fucking hell's wrong with you? This bit, incidentally, is where they've nicked one of those helicopters, and he's freed a few women as well and a few other prisoners. One poor bastard who's hanging onto the the door of the helicopter. They come on, trying to pull him in, and the Russians fucking shoot him. Poor guy's been wounded already, and he's hanging on, and he falls all the way down to the rocky ground below. And of course, then they fucking crash anyway. I just love it. I just love the combination of orchestra and electronics. Not everyone can pull that off, but Goldsmith, who, even though we're now 2 movies outside of Goldsmith's tenure on the Rambo franchise, he is still, without doubt, synonymous with Rambo. When you think of Rambo in the music, you're hearing Goldsmith's themes. Brian Tyler, who's returned to score Rambo Last Blood, will deliver the goods because he's a good action composer. And some of his stuff, his score for Thor: Dark World is absolutely brilliant. Thor: Dark World, the film, ain't so good, but his score is just majestic. So he can command a full range of symphonic might, but he can, like the Rambo, the one prior to this, one set in Burma, the one where Rambo, literally the end is just Rambo on the back of a Jeep with a fucking 50 caliber, just killing thousands of people whose legs are getting blown off, heads are coming off, and also, it's just relentless bloodbath. And but Brian Tyler's score for that it's exciting, and his homage to Jerry Goldsmith Hopefully he'll do it again with Last Blood. He'd have to. He'd really have to. It'd be nice if we had, you know, the long, it's a long road from First Blood to play it out as well, because that's how the first film starts and ends. So this would be the perfect capper. Folks, gonna leave it there because this was just waffle aplenty. And look, the sun is streaming through the window. It's almost like I'm in Afghanistan. Except the food's better. Oh no, that's terrible. And there's more beer. Anyway, look, folks, gonna leave it there. And I've got, before anyone goes, Kilt-Man, what about the mask review? You promised us? It's coming, don't worry. Like Goldsmith and like Stallone, I like to build suspense, you know? It's coming, folks. So, all yous, have fun, stay safe. Don't train up tribal warriors who are then going to become your enemies in the future. Don't train them so well that they're going to defeat you in the future. Right, I'm going to leave it there. All of you, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. Our subs are going up. Little bits, you know, one here, one there. But it's great. Thanks to you all. You know, it really means a lot. Please tell your friends. Please get everyone involved in, you know, the Kilted, you know, march. I don't know what we're going to do, but it'll be fun doing it. And that's a Kilt-Man guarantee. Right. I'm going to see your leaders. Nigella Lawson. Whew. Nice bit of crumpet.